We're recording now. And so I'm just going to mention for the recording that you will want a pair of weights if you have them. If you don't have them, that's all right. And let's make our way over to our mats and we'll begin lying down. So starting out, lying on our mats. And if you're more comfortable with something under your head when you lie back, feel free to put a pillow or something under your head. We'll begin with our feet on the floor, with our arms comfortably at our sides. And we'll take a little time here to just withdraw our senses to really experiencing our present moment. So you might want to close your eyes and just let your awareness come to what it feels like to be right where you are in this moment. So noticing the feeling of your feet on the floor, the feeling of your low back, shoulders supported by the floor, the feeling of your arms and hands, the feeling of your head, your neck. And your whole body relaxes when you lie down, recognizing that support of the floor. So notice that feeling of relaxation. And then notice if you're feeling any pain or stiffness or tightness or tension. And notice where you might be feeling those things. And if you're feeling tightness or tension, see if you can invite those areas to soften and release. If you're feeling tightness or tension in the muscles in the face, and the jaw, and the forehead, take a moment to soften the roof of your mouth. Just imagine the roof of your mouth softening and broadening. And notice if that helps to release tension in the muscles in the head, in the face, in the neck. And if you notice that you are feeling pain somewhere, if you have a chronic pain or maybe a recent, injury or stiffness or something going on in your body, just use that as information. So you might want to be a little more tender with that area of your body as we practice this morning. So we want to begin with awareness. We want to begin by really feeling the body. And we want to do that throughout the practice. Notice what we're feeling as we move. So now let's take a little time to just practice deep breathing. So experience a nice full deep breath in. And then let that deep breath empty all the way out. Do that for a few more rounds of breath. Let your in-breath be full and deep and expansive. And let your exhale be an emptying out, a releasing and letting go. Let it empty all the way out of you. Breathing in through the nose if that's available to you. And your exhale could be through the nose or through the mouth, whichever is better for you. But let it empty. For some of us, it's rare to experience a full exhalation in our day, especially a busy day when we're in a hurry. We tend to shorten our breath. So taking a little time to release the breath fully can be very cleansing and very calming. A nice way to begin our practice. So 1 or 2 more rounds of deep breathing. And then when you're ready, with your next breath in, you can open your eyes. And let's take one leg and hug a knee into chest, and take the other leg and just straighten it out on the floor. The leg that's on the floor, just kind of bounce the knee a few times, and then let that leg just flop and drop and be heavy on the ground. The knee that you're hugging, hug it in close. And then with one hand, just open that leg out to the side. Take a breath in. And then bring the knee back. Grab it and hug it towards the opposite shoulder, just stretching into the outer hip a little bit. Take a breath here. And then bring the knee back in line with that hip. Let's take the leg up in the air. We'll hold behind the thigh for a moment, and we'll just flex and point, just kind of loosening up the leg, the foot, the ankle, flexing and pointing. And then we can circle the ankle around in one direction and circle it the other way. And then we're going to leave the leg up in the air and drop our arms down at our side. And let's take that leg and we're going to circle it in, down and away, and back up toward the ceiling and stop at the top. So when we circle the leg, we'll keep doing that. The hips are going to want to move with the movement of the leg. And the first couple times you can let your hips kind of move with the movement of your leg. But now I want you to try to stabilize and not create any movement in your trunk. You could even put your hands on your hips to kind of keep yourself honest here. So can you do this big circle with your leg without moving your hips? And what will have to happen for that to work is that your stabilizing muscles in your core are working to keep your body from moving. So the next time your leg comes to the ceiling, do those big circles the other direction. And the size of the circle will be determined by how much you can keep your hips steady. So a bigger circle, it might be harder to keep your hips from moving, so you might make your circle a little smaller. So let's circle in this direction 1 or 2 more times, always coming back to the top. And then the next time the leg is up, we'll bend that knee, release that foot down, and we'll change legs. So we'll hug the other knee in, extend the other leg out, and let's again bounce the knee of the leg that's straight. And so we feel that leg just really loose and heavy on the floor. And then the knee that we're hugging, we'll hug it in a little closer. And then with that same hand, we'll open that knee out to the side and breathe in. And then we'll bring it back. Take it across a little bit towards the opposite shoulder so you feel a little stretch in that outer hip. And take a breath. And then bring the knee back. All right, let's lift that leg up in the air, hold behind the leg, and we'll just flex and point a little bit. Just loosen up the foot, the ankle, the calf as you're flexing and pointing. And then we'll circle it around in one direction. And we'll circle it the other way. Great. All right, we'll leave that leg up in the air and release our arms at our side. And again, cross your midline and circle that leg down and around and up. And the first couple of times your hips will just kind of move kind of naturally. So now try not to let your hips move. You might need to make the circle a little smaller, but you're really going to try and stabilize your trunk and just move the leg and not the hips. So a few more circles like this, making sure that we're just breathing here. We're not holding the breath. We'll circle in this direction one more time, coming back to the top. And then let's circle the other way. Out, around, and up, and out, around, and up. A few more like this. Just waking up the core and working the muscles of the hip a little bit here. One more time. Out, around, and up. Great. All right, we'll release that foot to the floor. Let's put the other foot back on the floor. We're going to lift our heads a little bit off the floor and clasp our hands beneath the head, letting the weight of the head rest into the hands, elbows wide. We'll take a breath in. As we exhale, let's hug the lower ribs down into the belly to lift the head, neck, and shoulders. And then just kind of twist your right elbow towards your left knee. And then lift up center And then twist your left elbow towards your right knee. And then lift up center and then release back down. Let's try that again. Exhale as you come up, and then right elbow twists towards the left knee, then back to center, and then left elbow towards the right knee, and then back to center, and then lowering back down. Breathe in. All right, we're gonna exhale and curl up, and this time bring your right knee in towards your nose. Twist across with your right elbow towards that knee, and then extend that leg out as you inhale back. So we're gonna curl up and draw the knee in, twist across, and then extend the leg as we inhale back. Coming up, twisting across, extending the leg as you inhale back. Let's do a few more of these. Waking up the upper abdominals and the obliques a little bit here, getting them working. Exhale, knit the ribs, twist across. Inhale, release back. We'll do 2 more on this side. Twisting across. This time, let's release that left foot down. You can give your head a break, let it rest on your hands on the floor. Take a breath. As you exhale, lift your head, knit your ribs, and curl up. And then let's bring that right knee in, and we'll twist the left elbow towards that right knee. And then extend that leg out as you inhale back. Let's exhale and curl up and twist across. Inhale, extend the leg, lower back down. And continuing like that. So as you twist across, elbow can go to knee. You could also think about the left ribs twisting towards the right thigh, kind of incorporating the trunk, not just movement in the shoulder. And we'll do 2 more of these. Coming up, twisting across, extending the leg as we inhale back. And last one here. Nice job. All right, release the foot, release your head. We're gonna roll to the side now, and we're gonna come all the way around to all fours. So make your way around to kneeling on all fours. And as we're here, we have our hands firmly planted, our knees beneath our hips. I want you to curl your toes under and just lift your knees a little bit off the floor. So this is called hovering table. So we're hovering the knees off the floor, and then we'll lower them back down. So one option is going to be to do that. Just hover the knees off the floor and lower back down. Now, if this is too much for your wrists, you could be down on your forearms, and you could be doing the same thing. If your wrists are fine and you want a greater challenge, we're going to hover the knees off the floor, and we're just going to start to bear crawl. So you can move anywhere you like. You're going to try and keep your knees close to the floor, and you're just going to crawl. Opposite arm, opposite foot, just kind of making your way around. So here's some of that weight bearing that we talked about. Keeping the knees close to the ground. You might move backwards a little bit. You might move forwards a little bit. And we'll just bear crawl a little bit longer, making your way back to your mat. And then we'll drop down. All right, let's sit back into child's pose. Your arms could be out in front in child's pose, your forehead coming to the floor, or you might rest your head on your bent arms. Take a moment here to check in. Notice how you're feeling. Breathe into your back or into any part of your body that could use a little support, a little love, and let the breath empty out. Do that a couple more times. And then with your next breath in, you can lift your head up. We'll reach our arms way out in front, and we'll start to transition to downward facing dog. Taking the hips up and back, hands pressing down firmly, hips lifting up and back. We're going to breathe in and out. We'll exhale into a push-up position, lowering the hips, pressing back through the heels. We're going to take a breath in here. And then again, I want you to drop to your knees, coming onto all fours. So from here, we're going to take one arm and reach it out to the side, parallel to the floor. And I want you to do some big circles here with your arm, just focusing on range of motion with your arm. So it's a little awkward circling the arm in this way because we're lifting against gravity to use those muscles in the back of the shoulder, which tend to be a little bit overstretched and weak. So big circles out to the side here. And then we're going to make those circles a little smaller and a little quicker. And then we're going to make them even smaller and even faster. And then just kind of make them really small and really fast. And you might start to notice not only is your arm working, your shoulder's working, but you're feeling some work in that side of your body, in that side waist. So we're circling, 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 circling. We'll do this a little longer. Breathing. And then give that arm a break. Set it down. I'll just turn the other way so you can see. So we're going to do that same thing with the other arm. Take it out to the side, palm to the floor, and just begin by exploring your range of motion. Big circle with your arm. Lift it up and back and around. So now the supporting arm is already a little tired as we're doing this. So we got that big range of motion, and then we're going to make the circle a little smaller. And then we're going to make it even smaller. And as we make it smaller, we can go a little quicker. And then we'll make it even smaller and faster. And then we're going to make it real small and real fast. Really just trying to build some momentum here, some fast movement. Keep breathing here. We'll do this a little bit longer, moving the whole arm, not just the wrist. You might even begin to feel some action in the muscles of your neck. And then release that hand down. Nice job. Again, we'll sit back into child's pose. You might find it comfortable to bring your arms alongside your body and rest your head on the floor. Or you might want that support for your head with your arms. But take a moment here to notice what you're feeling and breathe. And then when you're ready, again, lift your head up, reach your arms out, and make your way to downward facing dog. We'll breathe in and out here. And then let's walk our hands back towards the feet, dropping the heels. We'll end up folded over bent knees in our ragdoll position, nice and loose and floppy. Let's take a breath into the upper back. And then as we exhale, we're going to draw the belly in and begin to roll ourselves up. Just let your arms and head be heavy as you start to unfurl your spine. Take your time to roll up and stack your vertebrae. And then the last thing to come up will be your head. And then let's turn and face your device. So we're going to do some basic squats. So I'm going to just adjust my camera a little bit so you can see in front of my mat. Okay, so we're going to have our feet hip distance apart, maybe a slight turnout of the feet. We're just going to do some basic squats. And you can just have your hands in front. So we're going to sit down as low as you can and then push up. Now we're going to do 10 of these. So we're going to sit down and push up, and sit down and push up. Yeah, you can drop your arms as you come up. I think we're at 4 and 5 and 6, 7. So we're getting the legs working here. 8 and 9 and 10. Now we're going to do kind of a wide-legged squat. We're going to step out to the side and bend, and then we're going to push back up. And you might put this foot down, or you might just kind of balance. So we're going to step out to the side and then push back up. Step out to the side and push back up. We're going to do 10 of these. So I think this is 4, Step out to the side. And 5. And 6. So just kind of squatting a little differently. And maybe that's 8. I can't talk too much or I lose track. And 9. And there's 10. We're going to go the other side. So we're going to step out, squat, and push up. And there's 2. And there's 3. And there's 4. That's where we drop the arms. And this is 6. And 7. And 8. It gets a little easier to do the balance once you get the hang of it. All right, great. And now we'll just do some wide-legged squats. So have your feet much wider than your hips and just sit back and push up. Sit back and push up. Sit back and up. Sit back. I think that's 4 and 5 and 6 and 7. Nice job. 2 more. All right, great. Got a little warm and got the legs working. Now we're going to do some flow and some pushing work. So we're going to start at the front of our mat. We'll root down and stand nice and tall. Let's reach the arms out and up as we breathe in. And we'll exhale and swan dive forward. Bringing hands to the floor. Let's walk our feet back to downward facing dog. Pressing down with the hands, taking the hips up and back. Just let your head dangle and release. Release and relax your neck. Take a breath in and out here. And then we'll lower to our straight arm plank. Pushing the floor away, nice and long, from your crown of your head to your heels. We'll take a breath here. And as we exhale, we can let the knees drop down behind. We're going to lower the chest into the floor and then don't move, don't change anything. Just push right back up to knees. Curl the toes under, lift the knees, and go up and back to down dog. Take a breath. Exhale to straight arm plank. We'll drop to knees and lower the chest. We're going to push back up, lift the knees, and back to down dog. Breathe. All right, again, straight arm plank. Now you could drop to knees or just lower down, and you might push up to knees or push straight up, and then back to down dog. Breathe. Again, straight arm plank, and lower yourself down. Push back up, and back to down dog. And back to plank. This time we'll lower down and we'll stay down. All right, so once you're down now, slide the heels of your hands back a little bit and let your chest sink down close to the floor. So your nose is just hovering off the floor. Chin is a little bit tucked, crown of the head extends forward. So as we're here, I'd like you to lift your hands off the floor, lift your elbows toward the ceiling and kind of squeeze them in toward your midline, kind of waking up the muscles of the upper back. And then place your hands back down. Now, let's think about lengthening through the crown, and we're going to inhale up to baby cobra. Heart pulls forward, and back of the neck is long. Now, as we're here, we lift our hands, lift our elbows, and hug in towards the midline. Nice. Then we'll take the hands down and release the chest down. Let's just do the arms again. Lift the elbows, and then hug in to the midline. And then release your hands back down. And then do that with baby cobra. So we inhale up to baby cobra, and then we lift the hands and hug the elbows in. Nice. And then release the hands, release the chest. All right, again, just the arms. Lift the elbows and hug them into your midline. And then release your hands. And this time, inhale up to baby cobra, lift the hands, hug the elbows in, and then release the hands, release the chest. All right, let's try now pressing the front of the hips down and lifting the legs up. Toes are pointed and we're reaching back through the toes as we lift the legs up, and then we'll relax the legs down. So now we're going to add that in. So we're going to inhale up to baby cobra, lift the hands, hug the elbows in, and lift the legs. Take a breath, and then lower back down. Let's do that again. Inhale up, baby cobra, lift the hands, hug the elbows in, lift the legs, take a breath, and lower down. One more time like that. Inhale up, lift the arms, lift the legs, take a breath, and lower down. Nice work. Let's push back to knees, take the hips back, and sit all the way back into child's pose. Arms out in front, arms at your side, arms supporting your head, whatever you prefer. Take a moment here. Notice how you're feeling. Offer yourself some love, some encouragement, some support. And take one more breath. Great. All right. Let's lift our heads up and reach our arms out in front and make our way up to downward facing dog. Great. So from here, could you take one hand and just touch your knee? And then put that hand down. Take your other hand and touch that same knee. So one option is to touch the same knee. You could also touch your shin. Put your hand down. Could touch your shin. You could also touch the opposite knee or shin and put your hand down. So just again, this idea of a little bit of impact with our weight bearing. So yoga has been found to be helpful in dealing with osteoporosis. And you know, the natural progression over time is that we lose bone density. Even if we don't have diagnosis of bone loss, it happens to everyone. And so weight bearing is the best thing we can do to keep the bones strong with a little bit of impact. All right, so now lower to straight arm plank and have your feet wide enough apart that you can roll to the sides of your feet and press down and lift up to side plank. Now, if this is too much on your wrist, you could take a little weight off by dropping the bottom knee down. You could also come down to a forearm and be here. So lots of different options for side plank. Let's take a breath here and then come back to plank and then up to down dog. Take a breath. And then we'll do the other side. So make sure your feet are wide enough that you can roll to the sides of your feet and then lift the arm up. We're going to take a breath here and then come back to plank. Take the hips up and back. Breathe in and out here. We'll lower to straight arm plank. We'll take a breath here. We'll exhale and lower all the way down to prone mountain. This time, let's just inhale up to either baby cobra, or you might come up to cobra, and then come back down. We'll make our way up and back to downward facing dog. Let's breathe in and out here. We're going to lower to straight arm plank. Again, we're going to turn towards the camera for side plank. You could have the bottom knee down as you lift up. And could we lower the hips a little and lift the hips a little? Lower the hips and lift the hips, using the sideways here. And lift and lower and lift. One more time. Lower the hips and lift them up. And then back to plank, back to down dog. Take a breath. Exhale, last time to straight arm plank. We're going to roll to the other side and we're going to lift the arm up. And you could be on that bottom knee. We're going to lower the hips and lift the hips. Lower the hips and lift the hips. Couple more of these. Working that side waist. Bearing weight through the shoulder girdle. Nice work. All right, we'll come to downward facing dog. And then again, walk your hands back towards your feet. End up, folded over, bend knees. Okay, from here, I want you to bend your knees. Your feet are about hip distance apart. Bend your knees, lower your hips. Bring your hands to heart. Keep your hips low, lift your chest up. Reach your arms forward and sit back in that imaginary chair. Kind of funny, I have a chair right there. I could sit on it. And then reach your arms up. Breathe in and out here. And then push into your feet and legs to bring yourself all the way up. Reach up, breathe in. And we'll exhale our arms down at our sides. Nice work. Okay. Here's where we're going to pick up our weights if we have them. We're going to just start with one weight. So pick up one weight and you can stand towards the front of your mat, holding that weight. Let's put the weight in the right hand. And we're going to sit back like we're sitting in a chair, like we just did. Your feet are hip distance apart. And we're going to take a big step back with the right foot into a lunge. So that right heel could be down or it could be up, whichever is better for you. So we're going to be leaning forward here, and we're going to have the weight in the right hand. The right leg is back, the weight is in the right hand. And we're going to do a pulling motion. We're going to lift the elbow and pull the weight in by the waist, and then lower it down. So we're pulling up, lifting that elbow, weight is by the waist, or your fist is by your waist, and lower down. Pull up and lower down. Pull and lower. Pull and lower. Now we're going to pull up and then extend that arm straight back. Keep it high. Keep that elbow high. Keep the elbow high as you bend in and then lower it down. So pull up, elbows high, extend back, bend in, and lower down. A few more of those. Triceps working as we go back, bending in and lowering down. Pulling up, extending back, bending in. One more like that. Pull it up, extend it back, bend it in, lower it down. Now, this time we're going to pull it up, and then we're going to bring our chest up. You can lift the back heel off the floor. And then we're going to bring the weight by the shoulder, and we're going to lunge as we press up. All right, bring it in, and then hinge forward, straighten your back leg, and lower your arm down. So we're bringing the arm up, we're straightening up, we're bending the back knee a little bit, and pressing up. And then we're bringing the arm down, hinging forward, and lowering it down. Bring the arm up, straighten up, bend your back knee, and press up. Bring the arm down, hinge forward, lower the arm down. Couple more. Bring it up, straighten up, back knee goes down as the arm goes up. Bring the arm down, hinge forward, lower the arm down. A few more, now that we got the hang of it. Bring the arm up, bring your chest up, bend your knee as you press up, and then come upright, hinge forward, and lower down. Last one, hinge up, straighten up, bend the knee, press up, bring it down, and lower down. All right, step the back foot in. You're sitting in your chair. We're gonna do the other side. I'm just gonna change direction so you can see me well. Take a big step back with your left foot now. Make sure your feet are hip distance apart so you have more stability. So left leg is back, weight is in your left arm, and you're leaning forward. This arm starts down. We're gonna lift the elbow up and lower down. We're pulling up and lowering down. Leading with the elbow, your hand comes by your waist and lowering down. Pulling up and lowering down. Yeah. All right, a couple more of these. Pulling up and lowering down. Now this time, pull it up and then extend it back. Try to keep the elbow high as you bend in and then lower down. Pull up, extend back, bend in, and lower down. Nice work. Pull up, extend back, bend in, and lower down. A few more. Pull up, extend back, bend in, and lower down. Pull up, extend back, bend in. Last one like this. Pull up, extend back. You're doing great. Bend in. All right. So now we're going to pull up, and then we're going to straighten up. Let's lift the back heel up here. And then we're going to bring the arm by the shoulder, and we're going to press up as we bend the back knee. And then we're going to bring the arm down. We're going to hinge forward and drop the arm. So the arm comes up, we straighten up, we press up as the knee bends down. We bring the arm down, we hinge forward, we lower the arm. Pull up, come up, bend the knee and press up. Come down, hinge forward, lower the arm. Again, come up, press up as the back knee bends. Come down, hinge forward, lower the arm. A few more. Come up and bend and press up. Come down, hinge forward and lower. And two more. Come up, bend the knee, press up. Come down, hinge forward and lower. And last one. Press up. Come down, hinge forward. Nice work. All right, we're going to step the back foot in. You can hold your weight, sit back in your chair. You can reach your arms forward. Could you reach your arms up and then push down to rise up? Breathe in and exhale. Arms coming down. Good work. All right, we're going to pick up two weights now. You might want your lighter weights or hold on to your heavier weights. I think I'm going to keep my heavier weights. We're just going to do lateral raises with a heel raise. So for the feet, we're going to be hip distance apart, and we're just going to be coming up onto the balls of the feet, lifting up as high as we can, and lowering the heels down. And as we do that, we're going to take the arms out and lower down. So we're working on ankle mobility and strength, which of course are really critical in our ability to maintain our balance. And we're working those deltoids, those shoulder muscles. So we can inhale and exhale. How high can you come up and then lower? Now, if your balance is really challenged and this feels like too bit much, you could be holding a chair with one hand and just lifting one arm. And then after a few, you lift the other arm. So let's do 4 more. And 3 more. And 2 more. And last one. All right, good job. Nice. Let's take a wider stance. We'll turn one foot in and we'll turn the other foot out. And we're just going to start bending the front knee. So let's find a way to bend this knee so that we drop into the hips, the knee bends over the foot, the back foot is planted. So we're in this bent knee position here. Let's bring our elbows in by our waist with our palms up. And we're going to straighten the leg and reach out into a big V. And we're going to pull in to the waist. We're going to straighten and lift up, pull in. Straighten, lift up and out, and then pull in. Straighten, lift up and out, and then pull in. Let's do 8 more of these. And in, and 7, and in, and 6, and in, and 5, and in, and 4, and in, and 3, and 2. You're doing awesome. Last one here. Just a different way to work the shoulders, the biceps. All right, drop it down. Let's go to the other side. So we're going to turn the back foot in and the other foot out. We're going to bend that knee. Find the width of your stance here. So you're dropping the hips down. The knee is bent over the foot. Little stretch in the inner thigh. Now we're going to turn the palms up. We're going to curl up and then we're going to lower down. We're going to curl up and lower down. Curl up and lower down. Yeah, things are bending, things are straightening. We're gonna do 8 more, and 7, and 6, and 5, and 4. Nice job. Let's do 3 more together. And 2, and last one. Nice work. All right, turn that foot in and bring your feet together. All right, we're gonna work on lunges. And sometimes it's nice to have a distance to step back. So sometimes I have us stand on one side of the mat and then step over the mat into a lunge. So that's optional. You could just be stepping back on your mat. When we lunge, we want our feet hip distance apart. We don't want this really narrow stance. We want nice, stable hip distance apart. So we're gonna step back and lunge. We can curl if we have the weights, or we don't need the weights. And then we're gonna step in, and then we're gonna step back on the other leg. Lunge, curl, and step in. Step back, lunge and curl, and step in. Step back, lunge and curl, and step in. Step back, curl, and step in. So your lunge can be as down low as you like. Some people touch the knee. Some people that's a bit far. What's right for you? Step back, lunge and curl. Keep your knees bent a little bit when you step in so that you're working those quads the whole time. Step back and lunge and step in. Step back and lunge, step in. Let's do 4 more. So that's just 1 of the 4. And then we'll do 3 more. Yeah, we've got 2 more. Dropping that knee down, lowering the weights with control. And this will be our last one. Good work. Straighten up. All right, we're done with our weights. You can set your weights down. Let's make our way all the way down onto the floor. Make your way all the way down to lying on your back. Lower yourself down. And we're going to set up for bridge pose. So have your heels in close, your feet hip distance apart, your arms at your side. We're just going to push the feet down to take the hips up, lifting up into a bridge pose. So the hips come up, the knees and shins go forward. We'll take a breath at the top. And let's just nice and easy, slowly, gradually roll out of our bridge. Lowering down, slowly, gradually, incrementally, until you're all the way down. And then we're going to come up again. We're going to push down to take the hips up. And one option is going to be working from here on your shoulders, lifting one leg up and extending the leg, and then putting that foot back down, lifting the other leg up, extending that leg, and then putting that foot back down. And then let's roll down from there. So that's one option. Now roll to your side, push yourself up. So for those of us who have mobility, we don't have mobility issues in our wrists, we might choose this next level. So you're welcome to do it what we just did from the bridge, or we're going to do this as a reverse table. So your hands are going to be behind, and rather than your hands pointing back, externally rotating the arms, we want more of an internal rotation. So your hands can be sideways or your fingers turned in towards your body. Your hands are going to be a little bit behind your shoulders. Start with your elbows a little bit bent. Bring your feet in close and have your feet hip distance apart. And then see how it feels to lift up into your table position. Feet right beneath your knees, your hips coming up in the air. This is a little hard on a lot of people's wrists. So if you want to go back to the bridge, you're always welcome to. So from the bridge or from here, we're going to lift one leg up and then put the leg back down. Lift the other leg up and put the foot back down. So of course this is working the hamstring and glute on the leg that's not lifting up to support this lift. So let's do a few more of these. See if you can keep your hips lifted. They tend to drop over time. And we're trying to keep them nice and high. Let's do 4 more. 3 more. 2 more. And last one. Nice. And then we'll lower down. Either lowering out of our bridge or shaking that off. All right. Nice work. Let's try rolling down. We'll do this with straight legs. So we're going to sit up. We'll reach our arms forward. We're going to root down to try and sit up nice and tall. We'll breathe in. And then we're going to start to roll down. So think about really creating a contraction in your low belly and let that support the slow, gradual release of your low back. And then let your mid back lower, let your upper back lower, and let your arms reach overhead as you breathe in. And then we'll bring the arms up, lift the head, tuck the chin, knit the ribs, reach forward, and try and roll yourself up. Inhale and reach the arms overhead. Exhale and reach forward. Start to roll down. Really strong contraction in the low belly so that you can release the low back first, and the mid back, and the upper back. Then the head goes down, arms reaching overhead, breathing in. Exhaling, arms reach up, head comes up, chin to chest, ribs tuck in, and we roll ourselves up. Reach up, breathe in. We go down and up one more time. If you need to grab onto the legs, you can do so. We're going to inhale the arms overhead. We're going to exhale the arms up, head up, chin in, ribs tuck, reach forward. Last time, inhale up and overhead. Exhale. And roll yourself down. Once we're all the way down, arms reaching overhead, big long stretch, fingers to toes. And then just let your arms go out like cactus arms. So they're like goalposts. And then slide your feet in. And then lift your knees up off the floor. Let's reach around and hug the knees in and sway a little bit. Side to side. Nice. All right. We're going to swing the legs all the way over to one side, dropping the knees down. Take your bottom arm on the floor out in front of you. Take your other arm and place palm to palm, and then bring your knees up close to your elbows. We're going to take that top arm and reach it up toward the ceiling, and then reach it back behind. Opening the chest, looking up at the sky or back at the arm behind us. Let's take some deep breaths here. Breathing down into the side waist, and then letting that breath empty out and release. Do that a few more times. Deep breathing here. Let the exhale be a nice emptying out and letting go. Then take that arm from behind, back up, bring it all the way back down. And then we'll roll onto our backs and roll all the way to the other side. So now the other arm is on the floor out in front. Bring your top arm, place palm to palm, fingertip to fingertip. Bring your knees up close to your elbows. And then take the top arm up and reach it back behind you. Rolling that chest and that arm up toward the ceiling. And then deep breathing now. Feel the breath moving in and down, expanding, pushing that diaphragm down, and then letting that all go. Letting the diaphragm release fully, releasing tension, releasing stress. Let positive, fresh energy come into the body. As the exhale allows you to release negativity, frustration, anger, resentment. Let that go as you breathe out. One more round of breath in and out. arm from behind can come back up and come back down. Let's go ahead and roll onto our backs. And we're gonna draw the knees into chest. And we're gonna take the knees out wide. And then we're gonna lift the feet up. And you can grab the insides of the knees and pull them out and down. You could grab your ankles and pull your heels out over your knees. Or you could take 2 fingers and grab your big toes. The goal is going to be to pull the heels down over the knees so that the knees drop down. So the thigh bones are going to hug into the hips, the knees are going to drop out and down, and the weight of the heels is going to kind of facilitate that. So we're dropping into this happy baby pose, kind of feeling the weight of the heels, the weight of the knees, kind of helping to hug the thigh bones in to the pelvis, and maybe feeling a little weight in your low back. So you might be here with your heels stacked over your knees. You might try bringing one heel in toward your midline and taking the other leg out to the side and taking a breath. You might bring that heel back in over your knee or in toward your midline and take the other leg out wide and take a breath. You might go back to just stacking your heels over your knees, or you might enjoy taking both legs out and pulling them out and down in a big wide straddle stretch. Taking a breath here. And then we'll start to let the heels come back in toward the midline. We can release the toes or whatever we're holding on to and release our feet down. Separate your feet a little wider than your hips and just let your knees gently drop in toward the midline. Take a breath here. And then open the knees apart. And we're going to move into our final relaxation. So if there's one more movement you'd like to offer yourself at this point, you can do so. Otherwise, be sure to get what you need to be comfortable. So a lot of us are more comfortable with a little pillow or something under our heads. Some of us might appreciate a little support under the knees of some kind, a rolled up blanket or a bolster or something. Sometimes if you want to be a little warmer, you might lay a blanket over you. So what would you be able to do to be the most comfortable you could possibly be lying down? That's how we want to set ourselves up. So we take that time. You might want to put your socks on, whatever it is, put on a layer. That is time well spent to set ourselves up to be comfortable. Because we take this time, we're going to take, quite a few minutes, 5 or 6 minutes here. And we're going to offer ourselves the gift of relaxation. And, sometimes this might seem like a little self-indulgent, like we have things we need to do, right? But this is time well spent because we know that when we're relaxed, when we feel calm and peaceful and settled, then we're really our best selves. So by making this time for ourselves, we can put more good into the world today. We can be our best selves. We can bring our best selves forward. So this time is important. This time where we feel the body relaxing. And it's not even a prescribed thing. It's just a very natural, organic experience. So rather than telling the body to relax, we just allow the body to relax now. Our bodies are wise. And if they're not given instruction to do this or do that, when we're given permission, the body can very readily relax. We just need to give it the time and the space, the opportunity, and the permission to relax, to soften, to release, to unwind, unclench. To let go. So often we're trying to do a certain thing or be a certain way. And now we're just going to let ourselves be as we are. In our most easy, natural, relaxed state. Little by little, layer by layer, settling deeper and deeper into relaxation. Your arms and legs are relaxed. The belly is relaxed. The hips and seat are relaxed. The shoulders are relaxed. And as the weight of the head releases back, the facial muscles are relaxed, soft, smooth, unfurrowed, relaxed. Mind, like the body, relaxing as well. This is our gift. Becoming familiar with, comfortable with what it feels like to be relaxed. And you might choose to stay here longer. Or if you're ready to come out, you can open your eyes. You could bring your feet to the floor. You might gently roll to your side, coming into kind of a fetal position. Transition there briefly. And if you're ready to close out your practice, you might make your way up to sitting. And take a final few moments just for some quiet reflection. Perhaps just finding gratitude for some of the things you appreciate in your life. And perhaps setting an intention of how you want to move forward into the rest of your day. And with love and deep gratitude, it's great to be with you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace. So it was great to be together, and I'd be happy to talk a little bit with anyone who wants to come on, or if you need to get going, that's perfectly understandable.